Morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to August 13th Public Works meeting. And first on the agenda is building services.
Um, yes, Tim was unable to join us. So, Day and Jeff from Constellation will be briefing us about a new contract for, electric and gas services. So, Dave, do you have any introductory remarks?
Not really, just I think we just need to give Jeff the floor. So he can explain everything, how.
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
good
Jeff.
morning. Yeah, thank you for your time. I think within the packet, you've got a couple documents. I'll share it on the screen here as well. We'll start with the PDF. I know we're kind of have a short amount of time here, so I'll try to get through these as quickly as possible and then answer any questions that you may have. First, the PDF. We currently have a contract in place that we've been doing business for a number of years. It should tell you, you purchase the Municipal Electric and Gas Alliance. That's a nonprofit that puts out a bid. It's in conjunction with the Association of Counties. So all your municipal bid requirements are covered under the program. We're the awarded supplier of that program until currently until October of 2030. So that's the overarching ability to contract and work with me directly. I work for Constellation Energy. We're the largest retail provider in the country for electricity. You probably read us in the paper quite a bit. We also own the nuclear generation plants up in Oswego, and we're the largest generation owner in the country and among those in the world. So we're a very large and capable company. Now, with respect to electricity pricing, I think we're all aware of the demands on the marketplace, and with that, we continue to see escalating prices. I'm sure everybody feels that at home. Recognizes what happened last, January and February when you got your bills and the like. So just kind of want to touch upon some of that stuff and give you some of the reasons why we're seeing things that we are. Now, stepping through the PDF, looking at the map up in the top right hand corner. Generally speaking, prices in this state are a little bit different as you go from the west to the east. So you guys are in, excuse me, what we call Zone C or Zone E, Mohawk region, and that is in the blue. The reason for that is most of the generation is in the western part of the state, and the load is in the east. So we're hamstrung by congestion and whatnot, moving power, etc. But just know that there's different locations in the state. Every customer is a little bit different behind how they use power on and off peak and peak demands, etc. Now, with respect to what makes an all-in supply price, for those that haven't been through this before, you have when you look at your electricity bill, there's two pieces to that. There's the delivery side that the utility still handles, and then there's the supply side that we do. It's the electric commodity portion of the bill. The utility still handles the local line work, the meter reads, all that goes into the delivery charges that's handled through rate cases of the Public Service Commission, etc. We're in the business of generating, buying and selling power and working with retail customers such as the county. And with that, energy is a traded commodity. So when you're looking at this pie chart here, the energy that most folks would think about that would make up your electricity rate, it's only about 75% of that. And that's the electrons, flowing through the line. There is a forward market for that, like any other commodity, and that's what we're in the business of doing. The other traded component is this 13% for capacity. What capacity is payments made to generating facilities just to be available. Oftentimes we have generators in the state that aren't running unless they're running when we have peak demand, like early July, when the system is peaking. That is what those payments are for. So, generating units in the state, if they're in the energy market, producing all the time, get these, get these payments for energy. Capacity payments are given to all generators, whether running or not. It's also the price signal to incentivize building of generation in different locations. There's 3 capacity markets in New York State. Rest of the state, the lower, which we sit in, Buffalo to Albany, Capital District. I'm in the southern tier. I'm down in Afton, not too far from you guys. And then there's another one for New York City, which is even more expensive. Now, these other cost components, the CES is the Clean Energy Standard, transmission projects, and ancillaries. Those are largely legislated costs that have a short-term window in what we know those prices are. We might have like a forecast annually that's screwed up and whatnot. So the two things the takeaway here is the two things that are traded components are the energy and capacity. Now, with that, we are currently in what we call a backward dated market, which means the longer term prices are looking more attractive than the short term, and that's got to do with we had a tough winter last year, historically speaking, and obviously we've got a conflict in the Middle East that is kind of pushing up prices on the front end, and then the back end it comes off a little bit, and we'll see that here in a second. Historical energy prices, the line graph here. These are the index rates in the zone, and mapped on natural gas and crude oil prices. What's important to see here is the correlation between the red and green. As natural gas prices go up, so do electricity prices. And the reason, for that is if you look at this line chart up in the top right, this bar chart up in the top right, you can see most of the generation in the state, 50% or so, is natural gas fired generation. So it makes sense as the cost inputs to run the generation go up, so do electricity prices. And when you're with a utility or on an index rate, such as that all residential customers are in the state, and this is why you felt this in your home last winter in January, February. If you look at this line chart, you can see what happened, here in the spike that happened in January and February. And that when we have really cold weather, sub-zero weather around that, this is what happens. And last year it was as high as we've ever seen. And as we become more constrained in the marketplace, we're all hearing about the electrification, data centers, artificial intelligence. These things are huge energy hogs. And as we have more of the baseload generation coming offline, as we did with the Indian Point Power Plant, which was a nuclear generating facility replaced by intermittent resources, wind and solar, that we see popping up in the past years across our region. We are starting to, the margin between supply and demand is narrowing. And when we have that, what we have to do is start importing power from other places, and it becomes more expensive. And that's why you see these price increases. So just for everybody's benefit and knowledge, you're always going to see more expensive prices in the wintertime. So I often see on social media or in the newspaper or whatnot, it gets to be wintertime and everybody's a little bit puzzled on what's happening. That is the most expensive time of the year. So, prepare yourselves, when you get into January and February, prices are always going to be higher than they were in the summer, spring, and fall. It's just how pronounced they are. And that's largely going to be weather related, which was the case last year. Now, with respect to fixed prices, when you're working with a retail supplier such as ourselves, you can fix the energy cost, the electricity cost. And this is what this 24-month fixed price graph represents. We've been pricing a generic load shape in Zone E, probably going back 20 years at this point in time, just to give you some kind of historical numbers on how things look and what's been going on here. As you can see back in 21, if you took this graph even back, 6-7 years prior to that, we had really low flat prices. And that was a result of not a lot of demand. The fracking revolution, which really decreased natural gas prices. We're familiar with that in this area. And then what we had is, as you can see in 21 and 22, things went up considerably. That's the Ukrainian-Russian conflict. The Europeans came to the United States for their natural gas. So where we used to be an exporter of natural gas at about 5%, 4 or 5 years ago, now 25% of the gas that's produced domestically here is now being shipped abroad through liquefied natural gas. Bring it down to temperatures, put it on boats in the Gulf, and then send it overseas. So that's put pressure on natural gas prices, in turn, put pressure on electricity pricing. Then you can see it's bounced around, and then you can see here recently, really in the last couple of years or so, the things have shot up again. And this has really got to do with the constraints that we're seeing within the forward markets, with the supply and demand curves. I don't have to tell you that it's in the newspaper every day about what they're going to do with these data centers and these real high energy consumers. We're in a place where just generation and load is really being constrained, and even more so in some markets south of us and in the Mid-Atlantic region, more so than New York State. Lastly, energy capacity pricing. And those, to go back to that pie chart, that's 85% of the all-in price, if you will. As you can see here, when you look at these legs, you can see the most expensive time is in the winter months, far and away. The shoulder months where there's no heating or cooling load, right? Your springs and your falls, which would make sense, are the cheapest. Then the summers are somewhere in the middle. But you can see winters far and away drive price, and that's indicative when I told you about at home and index rates as well. And if you look at these legs in the current year, versus next year, you can see they're a bit taller here in this what we call the prompt winter, the upcoming winter, than they are next year, and even more so beyond that. And you'll see that when I bring up the spreadsheet for the prices. Now, the costs that are not fixed in here, that are costed at what the current known rates are, and then adjusted beyond as new rates become known, either up or down, are these clean energy standard costs. Tier 1, PPT, and these are transmission projects. Tier 1 and Tier 4, which is a recent addition that's not showing up here, are renewables. All the load in New York State is purchasing green power, whether we know it or not. That's been happening since 2016. And there continues to be more carve-outs for that. Most recently introduced in January was Tier 4 RECs. That's an acronym for Renewable Energy Certificates. And that is, New York City has their own carve-out requirement for renewables, which is socialized throughout the state. This is a lot about what we're reading in the paper of what maybe the governor and the politicians have control over, is the mandates on purchasing clean energy and the like. So we only have like an annual view into that. So when we've costed this up for you guys, what that is these costs are embedded at 2026 levels. We don't know where they go from there. So as those new costs come in, the prices for those components, whether it's up or down, it gets adjusted. Those are what we're talking about. Back to the pie chart up in here are the 6%, this 1%, and about half of the 7%. So collectively, it's not a big number, but just for your information, that's how it works. I'm trying to kind of fly through this thing, as I know we've got about 15 minutes here. Any questions on this from the group? So just kind of to level set everyone on the expectation when we look at how prices are, your current contract rate, which versus what the new rates are, when we have to start again here in November. You did your last contract looking at this 24-month fixed price graph to give you, kind of show you where things are at. You did a 3-year deal back in October of 2023 that that started in November. So if you took, looking at this chart as an example, if you just looked at things where things were on the graph in 23, the fall of 23, and ran that straight across, that's really where your fixed price has been. And you can see you've been beating the market for, by quite a stretch for, really for the last couple years. Unfortunately, you can see the market is now considerably different from what it was then, and now we're in a different world environment. So if you got any questions, shoot away. So I'm going to stop sharing this one, and then we're back to the. Now, if you look at, let me bring up the. Now, you should start seeing. I ran this the other day. This is the spreadsheet with the prices in it. Now, what we're looking at here, just to kind of show you where things are at. The term, you can see the term dates. So I've got 4 scenarios priced in here, varying term lengths. Really these look like 12, 24, 36, and then the 40, 47. You've got an account. Sometimes when the November starts, they might start the last day of October, which is the case here. And some of the accounts are smaller accounts, maybe bi-monthly read. So you see those carry into December. But with respect to the term prices, which are in row 20, as I mentioned, the front end is more expensive than the back end. So as you can see, as the term length increases, the price drops. So currently, the longest term is about $109 a megawatt hour, or 10.9 cents a kilowatt hour. In the 12-month term, if you will, 1214 is 11.5 cents. Now comparing that to the current rate that was done in 2023, that rate was about $87 a megawatt hour, or 8.7 cents a kilowatt hour, and then your annual usage forecasted for all of your accounts, which are below, are about 2,370 megawatt hours. So doing the math of those fixed rates multiplied by the megawatt hours, the annual spends, forecasted annual spends for supply are down here in row 22. So you can see the impact of what you guys are currently paying on an annualized basis. An estimate there at 206 versus what it looks like versus these these current rates for the different terms, and then you can see the deltas for the increases in 23. So depending on the term length on an annualized basis, you guys are looking anywhere from a $52,000 to a $65,000 or so price increase. Now, last year, those that waited, I don't know, these are traded commodities, right? They're up and down all the time. Last year, folks, that continued to wait into the fall as we got closer to these contract end dates. It did not work out so well. If you go back to that PDF, that 24-month fixed price, you can see between summer and fall of last year, prices went up considerably. So once we get into the cooling season, which around here isn't too far away, even though we're in the middle of August here, things have the propensity to shoot up. We get a cold winter forecast or something like that. So that's why we're in front of y'all today, just to show you what's going on, and so you can start thinking about making the best decision for the county going forward. So with that, any questions?
Yeah, where does our solar array come playing into this, or is that just credits that we get from NYSEG?
Yeah, with the solar array, and I believe you guys there's two types of solar things, if you will, right? you've got remote net metering or community solar, which I believe you guys are doing. That's why you're on a consolidated bill. Then we have what in the marketplace, there's what we call behind the meter solar, right? That'd be if you had solar panels, on your building or something that's reducing, your actual usage, megawatt hours or kilowatt hours. With those programs that are community solar based or remote net metering, those are discounts off of your utility bill, right? It's 10% discount off the delivery rate or the all-in delivery bill. So it's really a financial transaction rather than a volumetric transaction. So that's why if you look at the billing type here, that's why you guys are under consolidated billing. Because what happens there is we put our charges on the utility bill, and just say we're 10 cents here, right? 10 cents a kilowatt hour, and the utility's 10 cents just for raw numbers. So instead of getting your 10% discount off of just the 10% delivery charges from the utility, now you're getting the 10% off of just both delivery and supply. That's why most customers with those programs are a single bill. So that's how that works. It's not a volumetric thing when you're on, have like community solar or whatnot.
So apparently we've been with you for 3 years. Is that, if I figured this right?
That was just the last contract. I think we did the contract before that as well. I'd have to go back and look.
Is there any idea how much we saved in those 3 years?
You're really comparing against a, looking, I don't really have a number of what you saved over. I mean, that chart is indicative of where prices have been versus that. If you're with a utility, which would have been an index rate, it's really impossible to take a look back and kind of compare those types of things. Most municipalities and really customers within the state now, they opt for fixed prices, so you have some sort of budget certainty. With index rates, you have, and we do index rates as well, or hybrid rates. You really have no ability to manage cost or budget cost because you don't know where the prices are going to be.
But chances are it's not going to happen. But what happens if it goes down below the fixed rate?
When we do a contract, the only thing you can do at those point in times is potentially blend and extend. I think the view of the world, especially in these out years are priced, pretty aggressively. I mean, I don't think the prices, and I mean, if you look at these prices, right, if you look at the 47 month or the 38 month here, this is a weighted average of, all of these years. If you price these annual years, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. So you can see the front end, these prompt years are far and away more expensive than what they are on the back end. So there's probably not really going to be a scenario, I would guess, where my expectation is these back end prices that we march through time are probably going to increase. I think they're in a pretty good spot right now. The only thing you can do at that point in time is blend and extend the contract. What we do when we get when we get a contract signed, as soon as we get that contract in, we buy your requirements in the forward market at that point in time. So that's what happens. So let's say we do a 47 month deal. We know what your volumes are, by month. It's all in our pricing system. For the next almost 4 years or so. We go take a position and buy those requirements in the forward market, and then basically we get paid back, by the customers over time over the course of that contract. So we hold the position. So if prices go down, the only thing really in the years outside of the contract, the current contract, all we can do is blend those future years into the current contract rate, and then give you a lower weighted average price. Retail suppliers can't hold open positions. Many people have gone bankrupt, doing that. We can't show a fixed price and not hedge those costs, because if we don't hold that position and manage our business well, and costs come in higher, we're a large concern. And we might manage everything on a portfolio basis, but over the years, there's been all kinds of people that have tried to play that game and have gone bankrupt in our business. So, that's how that works.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else got?
So the question before you, I think, and we kind of got it decided in this legislative cycle, is do we want to, we have to have a new contract. The choices are 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, or I think
47.
47.
yeah. And right now it's a bad time to do a 1 year because of all the war and the fact that it's a global energy market. And by the way, I'm not talking about the war in Iran, although that is an aspect, but it's the Ukrainian war, which as Jeff alluded to, all the Europeans said, the heck, we're not going to buy stuff from Russia. We're going to buy it from the US. That raised everyone's prices. So we're kind of struggling with that. The whole world is kind of struggling with that now. That's why the first year, second year type of contracts are more expensive than a 3 year. On the other hand, as Keith just suggested, it's possible energy prices will decline more than what we have here when those geopolitical things are resolved one way or another. So it's kind of a gamble. Last time we did this, it was kind of the same sort of question because the Ukraine war was there. So
why wouldn't we do the 47?
Because after all this is settled, you're gonna be paying higher prices than you have to.
likely. It kind of depends. I mean, it's a guess into the future. I mean, with stuff that's way above our pay grade.
What kind of percentage are we paying for a 1 or 2 year contract over if?
But I believe the
1 year, 72.68, 2 years, 30.15, 3 years, 26.91, and 6 year, 25.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, those numbers are in 22 and 23. And
Um,
a little bit about the Ukrainian-Russian, conflict and coming to the States for for the natural gas. That's not going to change. Those contracts were production in this country are 25-year type contracts. They no longer want to be held to be doing business with the Russians for those reasons. And this was really happened a couple of years ago where those are long-term type arrangements with production here in this country.
I almost think you might want to go with 3, 7, or 30, 47.
What was the last one?
3.
3. Because I mean, with a 47, you're talking 25% less. More than. However, you know what? If you go back in history, I mean, let's get real. Energy prices are all. You hear a lot of hoopla over, the energy price, no matter who's in office. The reality is, if you go back all the way back to Obama, it's all about the same. So, is it likely to go down that much in the next? No.
So 3 years ago.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
I don't think so.
You can go back to Bush. If you want, but still.
Yeah, I think you're right. Even going back to Carter, for heaven's sake.
Well, that's where everything blew up.
Right.
I mean, in recent history,
Right.
I mean, Carter's recent history to me, but to everybody.
Right.
So what are our other jerseys?
I mean, if you look at it, it is what it is.
The other chicks is there, we don't have a fixed rate.
These are the only guys that do it or what?
That would be really hard to manage if we don't have a fixed rate. I don't know, maybe Michelle can talk about what's involved in that. I'm not sure I can. But in general, and maybe even Jeff can. There, the problem is, right, it might be fine in the summer, but if we get a weeks-long cold snap, stuff will shoot up out of the roof. That would be, I'm not sure I would recommend that. I'm guessing Tim wouldn't either.
Yeah, there's really no way to budget, index rates. I mean, it's rarely do I see, municipal customers looking at index rates. Now just to give you, the contracting, I work with all kinds of municipal customers across the state, counties, cities, towns, school districts, et cetera. Most are doing either 36 or 47 months, for these, for the reasons that we're speaking. Like I said, those out years, I think, are pretty well priced. I would be more worried about as we go march on in time, year 3 and year 4 increasing. I think there's more risk in those prices going up rather than going down. And what we've got on the front end is really not a lot of runway. I don't think there's going to be, much change, for, really for, 12, 24 months, between now and when folks need to contract ahead of the winter. So, that's kind of how I look at it. I mean, if you were just to look at these years independently, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, I mean, if you're looking at just that year 4 alone, that's, going to be well under, 10 cents.
Actually, what did we spend last year?
If you want to look at the spend numbers, estimates, and I don't have the numbers from the county, actually, these are my estimates based on what the current rates are and with your annualized volumes, that's in row 22. Looks like you spent somewhere in the neighborhood of $206,000 last year for the same thing, and with the forwards at these rates, you can see those it's in row 22, and that's what the year-over-year price deltas that Dave was referring to are calculated based upon. So 206 currently versus 258 for the 78-month term and 273 for the for a 12-month and 14-month.
Even between the 38 and 47 month, you're talking 1.68% difference. So I mean, even if you went with the 38 month.
And Zarellas, that's only building services, not the
Yeah.
other departments.
Not the only, yeah.
I'd say go with a 47.
What's our annual cost for electricity?
$206,000.
That's the sum of it? Everything?
Yeah, that's for supply. Now you're still going to have the delivery bill from the utility.
So NISAG also charges us.
Right.
They charge the delivery charge, right?
Yeah,
Which is significant.
Yeah,
it's roughly a quarter of the total bill.
Yes, yes.
and you guys have a handful of accounts behind National Grid too.
Right.
If you look at in the spreadsheet, if you look at the account list below, you can see the size of each account, et cetera, and where it's at. And you can see there's 4 NIMO accounts for National Grid.
Well, what's your pleasure, gentlemen?
I think it can go for something else. That's the point of. Right.
Yeah, we can't predict the future.
No.
Slugging back major changes would take years and years anyway, right? So we're gonna cite in, say, a giant solar array at the farm, that's way down. That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
4 years from now, at least, so.
4 years is a relatively short term.
Sure.
It's 6. 60, I mean, the 47 goes to 6 years.
Oh, 6 years?
6,
I thought it
yeah,
was
so it jumps
47.
from 3 to 6. It goes 1, 2, 3, 6.
I thought it was 47 months.
Yeah, that's just the scenarios. Don't pay any attention to that. That's just my internal pricing system. And that means that, it's gonna take the term length's on row 19.
4 years.
Yeah.
4 years.
That would be my inclination.
All right, can we, have a motion to accept a contract with their electric, pricing for 47 months?
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote.
McCarty,
Yes.
Wilbur.
Aye.
Brockway,
Yes.
Hinchey,
Yes.
Howard.
Okay, hearing no no's, all yeses, that passed. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, well, thanks everybody for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
You bet. Bye now.
Hopefully it works out. Okay. Is that it for building services?
No, business and customer.
Come on up.
Come on,
I don't like turning my head.
Thank you. I think it's come on down. It's the line.
We just have one thing today. We're requesting approval to renew the miscellaneous electrical services bid, reference number OTGOB -015-25 with Upstate Companies 1 LLC for an additional 1-year term that begins September 6th, 2026 and terminates September 5th, 2027.
What's the cost?
I have a motion.
Motion.
Discussion, go ahead.
What's the cost of?
It's per diem or per hour, so we haven't used Upstate since 2024. Since electrical work, I don't know the cost of that, Dan.
Okay.
So that's just a contract where somebody comes in and repairs our.
Right, right, we're all set up to go if we need that.
Yeah.
And we've had them for the last 3 years. It's just a renewal.
Any more discussion?
Is there a not to exceed amount on that?
There is, and I don't have all that. I'd have to check the contract marker.
I believe.
I do
it's
believe,
Not
yeah,
to exceed the various amounts
Yes.
budgeted per department, department budgets, their amount of maintenance.
Anything else?
Sorry.
Thank you. Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote.
McCarty,
Aye.
Wilbur.
Aye.
Brockway.
Aye.
Hinchey,
Yes.
Howard.
Hearing no no's, all ayes, that passed.
you.
Thank
That's
you.
all for us.
You. Okay, let's skip the administrator, no. Next one, county administrator, Mr. Wilson,
Shall I start?
please.
I've given you guys a ton of information, which we're obviously not gonna go through here today, but we do have a deck summarized. Even that, we put a lot of words in it, and we're not gonna touch on everything here today, but just the major highlights. There is about a 20-page document, which is the RFP itself, which was emailed, and I think you all have hard copies in front of you. It's toward the back of that document that starts with a memo. In front of that is close to 50 pages of a report from our office about all of the things that would go into developing a comprehensive site plan. So I think that will become useful if we go ahead with an RFP and get firms to actually respond with proposals. I'm hoping that document that I give you today will be helpful in assessing those when we get to the evaluation. But so that's what you have. So why don't we go ahead and switch to the next slide? And I'm up here because of my eyes. I need to be able to see this stuff. That's what I just talked about, the first two bullets, the immediate action request. All we're asking is for authorization to reach out to Dan Hammer with this RFP and or with the statement of work and get an RFP going. The RFP language might or the statement of work language might change slightly given Dan Hammer's input, but it should be substantially the same as this. We only need authorization from this committee to go forward. And keep in mind, none of this is funded, and we won't know really what the funding will be until we get some offers, which would, I believe, will be later this year. So that's our immediate action request. Let's switch to the next slide. Just a little bit of history for everybody. I don't know. I've been here since 22, and sometimes I get the impression that we have never or will never be able to do a major capital project for one reason or another. In fact, we've got quite a history of doing that. We've built a number, you're sitting in one of the major buildings, one of the major successful capital development plans, projects that we have done. The last thing we did was the jail in 1991, and that's 36 years old.
Did do a nursing home.
We did do a nursing home before that in 75, I believe it was.
No. Built a new one down,
The one we sold.
the one we sold.
2003.
Okay,
This
And-
was 61, I believe, right?
61, okay, the one I got is this building, which was 68, 69, I believe. So, I just checked the major topics. I don't have a PhD level history lesson on our building, but we've done this before, but this will be different. All of these projects were single projects on a specific site, widely dispersed in years. And that makes the planning and the finance of it a lot easier than what we are facing now. And remember, we have multiple competing projects. Okay, I mean, lately it's the jail that's gotten a lot of attention. That's in part because of the sheriff's aggressive sort of lobbying for that. But, you know, in the last 10 years, even though OES said, oh, we can wait for the fire training center until the jail is built, maybe that's not true anymore.
I don't think that was ever the case. We held up on the training center because of the last holdup was COVID.
Among other things, yes.
Right.
But while we were moving forward with this, Victor indicated that he was happy to wait for the jail. Actually, a better way to phrase that is, both Victor and the sheriff and Rich, the highway, all like the idea of co-locating these things. They saw a lot of operational reasons to do that. And so the county went out, I think as early as 24. I think this committee was the main pusher for purchasing that land. And we finally got it this year. Let's switch to the next slide. All right. I kind of addressed all of these in terms of the complexity, but there are a couple I just want to point out. First off, there will be infrastructure needed that wouldn't necessarily be the case with just one project. Their sewage treatment facilities are going to have to be probably larger, drinking water the same, and the utilities to connect the different facilities in the site will need to be linked. The same for circulation in the site, right? You can't be having highway trucks driving into perhaps a security area around the jail. You got to be careful when the fire engines come in for a live fire, I guess, drill, that they don't, run into snow. So there's a traffic issue that needs to be planned. But the big thing that we have to worry about is seeker. We might have gotten away without the full form environmental impact statement for the smaller one of these. Might have. It's unclear, right? But with all three together, absolutely not. This will be a full EIS, and because it's one site, if you decide to cut it up into pieces and do the seekers one at a time, first off, that's a big part of your cost. It'll be more costly, but you also open yourself up at some level to legal liability. Somebody might very well say, you went with the highway building first so you could avoid the seeker process for what will ultimately be a jail or a fire training academy. So it's very dangerous to do this one at a time. Let's switch.
Besides, we want to protect that wetland and we're in close proximity to the watershed, so.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The other thing about having a master plan, what do I say? More complicated, but better, right? Once we deal with the seeker and the normal sort of pre-designed planning, you can move forward with some of the least costly things almost immediately. I'm thinking of the Fire Training Academy, but even before that, there's been talk about the wetlands and like a trail system. I think, Eamon, you sort of brought something like that up. That stuff may be able to move, and that may be helpful in terms of public opinion with some of the other projects. So that'll be important. The other thing is, all right, yeah, I talked about the seeker thing. Let's go to the next. This is going to be the thing. This is going to be the most difficult thing, right? Fiscally. We are not in a good position. I'm sorry. We are not in a good position financially at the moment. I'm sorry, I apologize. Because our fund balance is way too low to get appropriate market rates or to convince, frankly, investors that we're a well-run county. We know we are, and it appears as if we are because we don't have any debt load now. But that won't be the case if we're starting to build these things. So we need to spend some time building up the fund balance. That needs to be a priority. And frankly, what we probably need to do is pass a resolution early next year or this year, or late this year, if we decide to go forward with these things, right? Stating it is the board's policy to get a fund balance of X, and we are working to do that. Same for the structural balance or imbalance that we have now. We're working that through the regular budget process. Those of you who were here last year know how difficult that was. It's gonna be another year, but we gotta keep at it in order to do this. Let's switch to the next slide, which is just what I was talking about. Okay. Let's switch. This is just from Tim's presentation. That's the site. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. At the moment, this is what I think are the facilities to be located on this site. The fire training, highway facility, county jail. I'm not sure whether it's sheriff's office or public safety building, EMS, 911, shared site infrastructure. I addressed that, but also the trails. Yes, sir.
I would also add, not that it's on the near future horizon, but as Mr. or Representative Powers talked about, and I agree with that, is a potential for a new location for an office building. And something that could be associated with the fire training center would be ambulance bays for the sleeping quarters for the county ambulance. And a on-site coroner's facility that we've spoken about, I think could be added to that.
Okay. We will capture those items. The big one will be the county office building, 374 acres, 162 in wetlands. You think it'll fit?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's
There's tons of.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you've got, let's say, for argument's sake, you're talking about the sheriff's office / jail facility, somewhere around 12 acres max, right? Highway garage, that's already pretty much set because of the gravel bank and everything else. So, your fire training center, 10 acres or less. An office building with complex, what do we got here? We got maybe not even 3 acres. So if we jump that to 5, I think you got plenty of room.
Pull the one off Main Street, you
Yeah.
can sell that building. There you go.
Okay.
And that's not even on the horizon of it, but
We'll also put that, we'll put those in the RFP.
So what's to say that if there was to be a new jail built, there will be someday, it's gonna go where the old jail is.
you know, a lot of demolition
Oh,
costs.
I know, but, well,
Yeah,
look
you
at that
could.
one anyway.
Yeah, that's true. You could, right? You could. There's no argument.
Yeah, I've seen them take down the Stewart's and over in Norwich, and 3 days later, they're building a new one up right home.
We're not quite
Also,
that fast.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, it was,
There's also talk of recycling that for a different use.
I don't know what to recycle it for.
Well, you'd have to take out all
Yeah, I know, it's me,
the,
cheaper to build new probably than we'll get.
So what we can do for the RFP, Jim, I think, is first off, include all of those things. But we also are gonna write in something that say, we want options
Yeah,
for the site, not just do it.
right. That's
And so, okay, let's put that in the RFP.
So that wouldn't actually just be for that site, it would be for what's there now too, right? I mean, as far as the jail and the county office building. I mean,
Okay,
I just.
might as well go big.
bigger go home.
Let's not go so big that we price ourselves right at.
Well,
I honestly have no idea of the cost. Okay? My only experience was big Superfund sites, and that was a long time ago.
So we might better just concentrate on what we got down the road if we decide to tear the other one down or whatever we do with them, work on that after, instead of making this so complex that we're not gonna do nothing.
You still have that option no matter how you.
So,
So I'd leave that out of it. The jail and the Meadows building or whatever that is.
Yeah, 'cause the Meadows building is another one you, at some point in time, you might want to raise,
right.
so.
for sure.
I, I'm just naturally conservative about the ability to get stuff done. I'm kind of with Keith on this.
I agree with Keith. Yeah.
To me, it's a phase two. If we get a good plan and we get going with a phased approach to construction, I think we can do the same thing, do a master plan for those other sites, which will be more complex because
It's
they'll
kind
be
of like a
tearing stuff
comprehensive
down.
plan. If you have a plan, you can always build on it.
Right, right.
Well, also, when whoever we hired to do this, we're gonna give them our old capital investment plan, which will, I mean,
Correct.
they'll use that as reference.
Correct.
They'll look at our aging buildings everywhere. And
Correct.
they might even just throw suggestions in, like our Main Street complex in Oneonta. Hey, you could do this here and then save that money either. But I'm sure they'll consider that.
Right.
I actually don't think so. We already went through a detailed engineering study of everything else. When was that? 23 maybe?
Something like that, yeah.
Right. So, and I believe, I'm trying to remember this, but I believe that the estimates at that time was like 780, something like that. I may be misremembering it.
Well, the overall cost for fixing, I guess is the easiest term,
Right.
is about 100 million.
Okay,
Well, that's when it came up with the decision. It was like the highway garage. It was cheaper to build a new one than it was to repair the old one. And the same thing was with,
Yes.
and that's
And
how
that
it came.
combined with its location and its restrictions and its safety hazards for the school and the whole thing.
I think that might also be true about the jail. Keep in mind, actually developing all this is going to take a good 10 years. If the board decides, okay, the jail goes last, right? Okay, that's fine. That will be what, 10 years, 36? It'll be right at the jail's useful life. So renovation likely will be perhaps more
Realistically speaking, when you build a jail or not build a jail, but if you were to say start today, you're talking a 5-year plan from the day you start to the time that's built. That's the problem with the jail.
So it's not the least bit apparent or urgent, at least from my perspective, that we gotta put a shovel in the ground right now to deal with our existing facilities, right? The sheriff would obviously strongly disagree, and there would be law enforcement officials who probably would join him. But regardless, with this plan, we'll have a space for this place to go when the board eventually decides to do it.
Exactly.
I was
That's
just
it.
saying, that 2023 plan, that engineering study though, should definitely be given to them because
Oh,
they're gonna be
Oh,
having.
yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, so I'm just making sure, like, we want them to get eyes on everything we've
Okay.
thought about and
Absolutely.
assessed before.
Yes.
Because they're gonna know stuff that we can't see right now. They might be able to say, you can do X and Y, and it changes the outcome and saves you millions of dollars, so.
Talking about this with Tammy Harris, we said, yes, of course, we need to assemble all that stuff and get it to them. She also thought we definitely should have a walkthrough pre-proposal with whoever expresses some interest. A site walkthrough,
Yeah.
some of the buildings, et cetera, et cetera. Now, it is important, we are not asking this firm to do any design
Right.
of the buildings. They will need to talk to facility owners to get a good solid sense for the footprint, right? So, they'll talk to people, develop square footages.
Well, we pretty well have all that. Doesn't Victor have something for the fire training?
Yes.
We have
Doesn't-
something for Victor.
We have something for the highway garage that they
I'm
presented to
not
them?
sure.
Well, we had a plan for,
We did have a
Both.
plan. those will all, just like Victor's,
Rich's-
those two will have to be reevaluated
Right.
for this site. So it won't be
I know
like,
you can't use things, but it's something, a little bit, instead of starting from the ground, it's.
oh yeah, we're not starting from the ground. Let's go to the next slide here real quickly. There are 4 things that this firm will have to do. Okay? The pre-design and planning, we've been talking about a lot of those issues. Secra compliance, initial regulatory compliance. I'm thinking of the corrections office, commission, but also permitting, zoning, that sort of stuff. And then a schematic, a picture that we can all see the things firmly located. Let's go to the next one. All right, here's pre-design. Site assessment, existing conditions. We have existing work on that, so hopefully that won't be a big deal. Topographic boundaries survey. Our GIS folks will be extremely helpful in that. Geotechnical, we have some information. That won't be right at the beginning. Environmental assessment. This firm will need to work with probably soil and water and Tammy's office. Utilities demand assessment, that's clearly what the firm will have to do. Traffic and circulation. Facility program and needs, that's the conversation, working with the past plans and conversations with the facilities owners. Then master plan and site development, that's simply what it looks like written down. Then we're gonna have to talk to people and preliminary cost estimating and a phasing strategy. This last thing will be important financially, because it will have to bring in the financial analysis that we'll have to do ourselves as to when is the time to build these things. We just kind of talked about maybe the jail going at the end.
We're
Yeah,
gonna, like, look into geothermal for the heat, so we don't have to spend so much money on electric and
let's make sure we capture that and put that in the RFP.
Alternative energy.
In general,
Yeah, definitely.
what's it, leads?
growing nice algae.
Maybe we should try to frack right on the site. Do that.
That's an
I
idea.
guess. Power the whole
boy.
complex.
Oh, you.
10 years ago, they were
I
running.
just said that in public. I know.
Yeah.
Trust me. I know. It's election.
That's it for you. See ya. All right, let's go to
That's
the
a
next
maybe.
one.
It's a maybe.
Let's go to the next one. This is Secra. Lead agent. First off, Tammy and Soil and Water will need to be very much involved in this. But these are all the things that will need to be developed, right? Lead agency coordination, actions class. That's when Tammy comes here and says, we're the lead. That's probably not going to be a big deal. The full environmental assessment form, Tammy has talked to the board about that periodically. We try to use the short form as much as possible and typically are able to with our smaller projects. There'll be a scoping document, the draft EIS, and then the final coordination with involved agencies, public hearing, and then the findings statement. Okay, this is going to be the time lag. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is just all of the agencies that'll have a say in all this one way or another, and we're going to have to coordinate.
I disagree with the New York State DOT because we're not on a state highway.
We should ask.
Okay.
Well,
This is planning. This is planning.
Over bridges and all that stuff.
And when we have a trusted planner and environmental consultant, they can advise us on all this.
Okay.
Right. Next. Oh, right. We've been talking about this all along. There's all these things support that the county can bring to it involved. I just wanted to, we have that. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, this is not the RFP schedule. Right? I think we can make these changes to the RFP if I want to talk with PSLA, but we practically got PSLA here. We want to make sure whatever issues or questions they have, do the same thing for admin next week. As soon as that's done, maybe not the 21st, but the following week early, or maybe even over the weekend, I'll ship this puppy over to Dan Hammer and get going on the RFP.
So the approvals you need are from this committee and then, that's it, really?
That's it.
Yeah. But
If
so,
you guys say yes, we're done. I do think it's important to be, this is the big thing. I feel the need to be, in a sense, more transparent.
no, absolutely.
With, frankly, the whole board. Because there's debate about funding, the priority of these different projects. This does not get into that, but people will want to understand that this is a framework they can have that debate. And then next.
So actually, how long is it gonna take to get a response from the RFP?
I want to talk with Dan Hammer on that, but I'm thinking typically 30 days. That's kind of long, but I think that's what it will be for someone this size, for a project this size.
Look, you're beyond anything happening this year, so at this point,
I'm not going to give up awarding contract this year.
Right.
no, I'm talking about shovel in the ground.
Oh, no.
So like even a fire training center.
Yes, and that's because of secret.
So,
No other reason.
so I think we're, the reality, I think we're in a acceptable time frame. So I'll go ahead and motion that we move this forward for an RFP.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
I did.
Yeah.
Discussion.
Seconds.
I thought we approved this to go ahead with an RFP at the last meeting.
No, I don't think so.
It was mentioned, brought up, said,
It
yeah.
got taken back off, I thought.
Yeah, and
It was going to be,
and
and I think we just took it off.
we gave direction for this to be prepared and ready for this meeting.
Yeah.
In admin, sure, but this,
Yes.
that all that happened in admin.
Yes,
Yeah.
and if you remember, I asked you twice during the board meeting if this would be ready for proposal for this meeting.
Yes.
All right.
I thought about that a lot over the weekend when I was working on it.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote.
McCarty,
Aye.
Wilbur.
Aye.
Brockway,
Aye.
Hinchey.
Yes.
Powers.
Okay, hearing none, all ayes, that passed.
Thank you. We'll make those changes and redistribute the RFP.
Oh, by the way, one last thing, we're gonna try to keep some historical observations there, right? Some of those old buildings ought to be saved somehow.
I
10-4.
agree. I agree. That one house could be a nice little museum. So.
And the butcher shop.
Yeah, and that silo. Apparently there's not
That's-
another
no,
one.
That silo we ought to look at, and there might be grants. There used to be grants from New York State for agricultural.
Yeah.
Preservation. We might be able to get something.
Well, when they come back with these plans, we could change these things any way we want, right? Or do whatever we want.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Well, that's
Absolutely.
why we're discussing it. Next month, we were gonna meet down there. Do you feel that's necessary now? After what Tim showed us and everything else to go down there?
Either way, I'm okay, either way.
Either way, I've been down there, so.
Well, we can't have the meeting down there because,
And I've been down there recently too, so I just went a couple weeks ago and.
so
had a
let's
pretty
leave the
good tour.
meeting. I mean, I've been down there too. And
Yeah, I don't
after,
I'm-
after seeing Tim's
I'm good. Either
presentation,
way.
Between Tim's and then filming and touring the day and the jail and seeing the the tiny, I mean, I like,
Okay.
okay, so
Okay.
we'll put that in the minutes that the meeting, the
Good.
regular meeting will be here.
Okay.
The document, the long document that I also sent you includes an extensive discussion of possible funding, grant funding for pieces of this. Okay, so that's another bit of complexity we absolutely have to work through.
Did you
So-
bring up about the Mohawk Valley? Was that you that brought that up about funding?
Yeah, and I talked to Tammy as well.
Oh,
I saw
okay.
Tammy in her office.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
What I don't
working together
understand-
on the embed, 8, Southern Tier 8,
Yeah.
we'll see if we can get some planning money from, Mohawk Valley REC, so, all of that will be immeasurably easier with this stuff.
So while we're on this topic of this property, and by the way, I like the term the farm. Um, we made promises last year that we would put up particularly no hunting signs around that wetlands because of the close proximity to houses.
The duck hunting, maybe.
Duck hunting.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
So I think we need to do that. And I also think we need to put up, in some areas, no trespassing or enough, authorized entry only in areas too, as well, for security reasons.
Dave, would you get an email out or mention that to Michelle?
We could ask Rich too to have the end of it.
Well, yeah, Rich,
Can we?
Rich might be able to make some, but we could say something to Tim too. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, Tim or Rich.
Yeah.
no posting time.
Yeah. But I think we should get that done, at least the no hunting signs.
Especially as we close to fall. I've seen
Right.
cameras
So
up,
then we're
a lot of cameras up already.
Yeah,
So
here we are. Before you know it, by the time we get it done, it's going to be duck hunting season. So,
And thank you.
thank you.
thank you.
Highway, Mr. Bremer, you're up, bud.
Morning, everybody. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. I got another meeting I gotta get to right after this.
Oh, well, better make it fast then.
Yes, sir. Got a request, a motion to extend resolution 380 of 2023 with Bergman Associates for the County Route 20 Bridge New York project.
So moved.
Second. Hear any discussion?
This one is we got held up because of the right of way with the landowners there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hearing no discussion, we will do a roll call vote.
McCarty,
Aye.
Wilbur.
Aye.
Brockway.
Aye.
Hinty.
Yes.
Powers.
If you don't know, it's all ayes, that motion passed.
Request a motion for a resolution to transfer $3,600 from A 1990-548000 contingency to D 5010-545650. That's our water and sewer line.
So moved. There's a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
This
Yeah,
was cut during the budget cycle last year, and we need this to get through to pay our water bill to get through the rest of the year.
and you've checked your other, parts in your budget. You don't think you can squeeze it out?
Correct.
It's 3,600. We're gonna have I think we're gonna have some unanticipated expenses coming into contingency later this year, so I'm just gonna be nervous and ask that question anytime anyone asks. And I appreciate people asking for little dollar amounts like this.
Okay, we have a motion. Any more discussion? Now we'll do a roll call vote.
McCarty,
Aye.
Wilbur.
Aye.
Brockway.
Aye.
Hinty.
Yes.
Powers.
Okay, that passed.
Request a motion to approve the snow and ice agreements with the towns of Cherry Valley, Decatur, Exeter, Lawrence, Maryland, Oneonta, Otsego, Plainfield, Springfield, Westford, and Worcester. And that's going to be from 10/1 of this year to 9/30 of 2029.
So moved.
The motion is second. Any discussion?
Any significant changes?
We hope not. So far we have not heard anything from anybody that other than the normal.
Okay.
Do a roll call vote?
McCarty,
Aye.
Wolford,
Aye.
Brackway,
Aye.
Hinchey.
Yes.
Powers.
Aye.
Hearing no no's, all ayes, that passed. On that subject, Rich, it come to my attention that these towns haven't been paid yet.
Oh, news to me. I will check on that.
Well, it's been 4 or 5 months. I don't know what the holdup is, but
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure we processed it. But I will definitely check on that.
okay. Anything else?
Yes, sir. I'd like to request approval to purchase a metal shear for the sign shop at a cost not to exceed $3,500 from our sign shop budget.
So moved?
Second.
Does this make poster signs?
This is to recycle the old traffic signs we use. We've always just thrown them away, and the culvert markers, the object markers that we use, they're much smaller, and they think they can get it depends on the sign, anywhere from 5 to 10 out of each of the signs. They think this will pay for itself in a couple of years.
Okay. Do roll call vote?
McCarty,
Aye.
Wolford,
Aye.
Brackway,
Aye.
Hinchey.
Yes.
Powers.
Aye. Hearing no no's, all ayes, that passed.
Next one, sorry, this was a late one. This is our chips. Every year we budget just the chips allotment that we're guessing that we're gonna get, and then we do a budget mod when we get the actual allotments. And this is just the increase in the chips and our rollover that was left over. So we would like to increase our D 435010. That's our revenue line for consolidated highway aid by $994,321.88, and increase the expenditure line D 5113-522500 by that same amount.
Your motion?
So moved.
Mr. Wilson's smiling over here after that, you know that, don't you?
This one's just a wash. This is money in, money out. It's not going to cost the county anything.
We'll go for a roll call vote.
McCarty,
Aye.
Wolford,
Aye.
Brackway,
Aye.
Hinchey.
Yes.
Powers.
Aye.
Hearing no no's, all ayes, that passed. Thank you.
Okay, got a couple things. The Fair Association, we always haul them some stone dust. They asked if we could haul clay. I just thought I'd run it by you folks. I don't have any issue with it. We can fit it in on rainy days.
All clay?
Yeah, they want to put some clay down on the track.
On the race, the horse track.
He didn't say which track.
You know what else you ought to do over there? Gotta pave that runway that goes down to the fair, the midway there. Look,
Oh
That's-
yeah, getting bad, is it?
very bad. But go ahead,
I'll make that motion.
second.
Where are they getting the clay from? Anywhere over there?
He didn't say. I didn't ask. I assume someplace local.
That works good on rainy days. It slides out of the box easier.
Yeah.
I'll do a roll call vote. Do we have to
McCarty,
vote? Can we just say aye on this? Everybody
Yeah.
in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, you're upset.
Okay, so the next one there's an inconsistency within two surveys for one of our properties. It's property at where our forestry building is, and we did a survey 2 years ago. I think it was 2024. And the other property, they had a survey done, I forget when, several years before that. And there's a little sliver of a discrepancy up on the top corner of this property. We stayed away from it when we logged it. We had talked to the owner, and we just listened. There wasn't many trees in there, so it wasn't even worth. But since then, the county attorney office has been involved in real property and all that, and I sent you the email from them, and so you all need to decide if, how you'd like to proceed with this.
I think that would be a consultation with our attorney.
Yes.
How much land area are we talking?
0.01 of an acre, I believe, if I'm remembering right.
So is it worth getting into? When we go back?
Let's just do a boundary line adjustment.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that's the way I.
yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, otherwise you're gonna spend God knows how much
Thousands
money.
of dollars to get a point of an acre.
You don't even need an attorney that way.
Yeah,
The survey's been done.
I agree with,
Are there any legal requirements to do that? For county? I don't know anything about this type of.
What I got was that it says that we have to bring it to parent committee and we have to prove that the land is not useful to the county. Denise can speak to this, or Monica could speak to this way better than I can.
Just to be clear, are we talking about just giving the landowner that property?
Are we sure it's ours?
Well, that's a very good question. There are two competing surveys.
So we don't know if we really own it, and they don't know if they really own it.
Exactly.
So what's the next step?
Well, if we are okay saying the property owner can have it, the committee just has to determine that legal ownership is unclear, and that it is no use to us.
So is the one that claims, is he paying taxes on it?
That I do not know.
I would guess, I mean.
Rich, can you help me with those two surveys? I'm not lining them up.
Yeah, they were hard to.
Yeah, they're hard to go. The one is turned the other way. It's the Kuchenberger line. The one it's at the top. The other one, I believe it's at the right, upper right. It's a very slim shaded. It's really hard to see.
It's just that it's really thin adjusted parcel line piece.
So
Correct?
it's a little pie piece. We start out at the same line at the top left corner of the property, like as you're standing in a forestry building, you look up the hill. The top left is in agreement, and then the property line they have comes like straight across, and then or that we have does, and then theirs comes at just a very slight angle to create this little pie piece.
Well, can we just reach out to the surveyors and tell Lawson what's happening? And
Lawson stands behind their work.
who was the other surveyor?
I think that was Regan. Should be right on the survey.
Oh yeah, it is Regan.
Yeah, Regan.
Both local. I'm pretty sure that Jimmy talked to him too, and he was good with his.
We split it?
Oh,
The splitting it will need to be resurveyed.
Yeah.
For the boundary agreement,
Okay.
we would have to resurvey it.
Personally, I think we should
If we
stick with our survey, and if they wanna fight it, let them fight it. For a point some acres. I mean, we got a surveyor who says he knows what he's doing and has certified it. They got a surveyor, say if you're disputing it, go ahead and fight it. I don't see just giving it away either, so.
Whatever.
We just logged it right now. We're not gonna go back and log it again for what, 20 years
Or longer.
or longer. Yeah.
What are they doing with the property?
Nothing.
They probably wanna sit on the end of it, huh?
Probably.
Again, anyway.
Not when we put our boats inside, so.
No, it's on the farm.
How would they contest it? If they want to fight us too, would they have to sue us?
Yeah, they'd have to show us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would cost them more to sue us than what the piece of property. Let them sue us. That was there.
Okay.
Sounds reasonable.
Okay, now we're good on that.
And Lawson's is more recent. And Lawson, he's always been right. Every survey I've ever seen.
We've used him all the time,
Yeah,
right?
they're phenomenal.
Yeah, we've used him before. Yeah.
I don't
We've
know.
used Regan too. Regan did some work for us last year before.
Well, maybe they ought to sit down and have coffee together.
All right.
Okay, next one, just for information. Yesterday I met with the DEC at the gravel bank, to go over our mining permit. That meeting went very, very well. Anything we want to do to change that, we have to submit a change order, and it takes 6 to 8 months. So we've talked about the roadway, building a new driveway, access for us off of 33. And we've got to get that in right along to be able to do it next year. There's no possibility of doing that this year. I was really hoping we were going to, but just their paperwork side of it is 6 to 8 months. So we'll get that in, we'll get that submitted to him. But other than that, it was a very positive meeting. He's going to be the guy that we're going to deal with, and he was very, very good to deal with.
What was his name, Rich?
Tyler Straight.
I don't know him.
So is that something that needs to be kind of added to this RFP or what? That we're putting that road, that's where the roadway is gonna supposedly go?
I think when they do site assessments, they will capture. I don't think we shouldn't wait now,
No.
because it may end up. Rich, are you talking about a permanent road?
A highway road for the highway facility, and just an emergency secondary access for everybody else was what Ed and I had talked about.
Yeah.
I think we should just go ahead and do it. Whoever we select will see it and work it into the circulation.
Good.
Yeah, it's going to be on the outskirts of anything. It's going to be closest to our building and way on the outskirts of anything that for all the other stuff.
Right, and it's an important aspect
Sure.
of the thing. You know, we're gonna want some version of it when the site is completely developed, I would think.
Okay. Anything else?
All I got is our credit card purchases. Nice Egg, $128.83, $24.47, $55.71, $146.84, $746.20, $22.89, $151.18. Otsego Electric, $135.69. And that's all I got.
We have a question, if you have a minute.
Sure.
So, at the soil and water meeting, some people were really unhappy with the logging job over there in Middlefield.
Yes.
I mean, we picked the logger, right? And he bids for it, we okay him, right? But who sets the terms, what trees he's supposed to cut and how he's supposed to do it, what's supposed to be left and not left, and
The forester, Dan oversees all of that.
is he ever there, to your knowledge, when they do it, or?
Yeah, well, he reports to me that he's been there and things looked good. The big bone of contention was the buffer that got cut, amongst other things, but that was like the final straw for this lady. The town of Middlefield had significant concerns about what was there and their road, and there wasn't a lot left there. So they followed the forest management plan, which was to get rid of. There was some hardwood, but there was a lot of stuff just to get rid of to allow the hardwoods to come back in. And there was no plan for replantings. Dan's plan was just to naturally let it regrow itself. But because there's been so much a very upset person that we had just under $10,000 left over from the surveying. We couldn't use all of the money for the surveying there, so we got about $10,000 left in that same budget line. And so I've reached out to Christos at Soil and Water to see what our options are for replantings. Can we use that money to replant at least the area that is right across the road from this lady's house? I haven't heard back yet.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, just to, people aren't happy when you cut a tree,
No,
period.
they're not.
So, I mean, my personally feeling, it's gonna grow back, it's gonna take time, yes, but to cater to start planting trees for every complaint we get, we're gonna be doing a lot of that.
That's sort of what I feel about, I think he's got it right, and 3 years from now, it's gonna look a lot different than it is today, when
That's
you
right.
don't do anything.
For sure.
See,
Yep.
like she's ever seen.
Yeah. So,
Can we, oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Rich, is it possible just in the future, just to make sure we make a big enough buffer off the road too? Like that, do you know what I mean? Like if we had a 50-foot buffer off of all roads when we're doing that kind of cutting, maybe no town would ever ask us to, knock it down.
True. Yeah. Yep.
50 feet's not very far.
So,
Right.
correct me if I'm wrong,
Sounds
but this
buffer.
parcel we talked about in last Public Works.
Yes.
They decided it was best for this parcel to let it grow back naturally, correct?
That's what we,
Right.
Because of some different.
So I guess it's like everything else. You have experts in certain fields and
That-
not experts in certain fields, and you got to go with.
Nobody likes to cut a tree.
No.
Nobody wants a tree cut.
I don't like clear cutting either, but they're saying. it's
Well,
best,
any
so.
tree, brush or anything.
I just wanted to know if the log or the Dan there was aware of what was going and it was done to his prescribed methods. If that's what he said, I'm fine with it. I just
Yeah.
didn't want to know if the guy went way beyond what he asked him to do.
No,
No,
and he went and did his site inspection when they were done.
Okay, all right. I'm good.
Hey, Rich,
Yes, sir.
credit card question, if I may.
Sure.
Do you have receipts from the electric company in addition to the credit card receipt?
Yes, we still get the bill.
You might want to save those.
Yeah, we save all of ours.
Great.
Yeah,
Great.
we put everything in the muni. Well, actually, I think CBO actually processes the credit card payments for us. The utility bills, they process those.
Okay, good. Just double checking. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, we have a file that has bills paid. Every bill we get, we scan them, keep them.
Anything else?
That's all I
Thank
got.
you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. Take care.
Rich. Next on the agenda, 25 minutes late, is this young lady. Dave. All
Hey,
good.
Rellis.
All
How
good.
you been?
You say like that, you come in my box, come me.
I know, but I like saying that one. Thank you for letting. You can hit me later.
Did you take the workplace violence course?
Anything failed.
He ain't saying a word, ain't he?
Failed it.
I did. I did. I don't want to take it down with these eyes. I'm so frustrated. Alright.
So, I made some changes from the previous presentation because I realized that I deleted 3 slides that I really like to give the whole picture of the budget. So here you can see in the first column, the adopted budget numbers, the revenue and expenses. And then the revised budget, if you notice, we increased around 3 million in revenue and 4.5 in expenses. So the gap now is increasing 1.5 million. For second quarter actuals, it looks like we are doing good. And also seems that we have a surplus there of 2.5 million. But later I'm going to explain, I'm going to go in more detail of what's happening here. So for the local, for the revenue by source, so we are good in the local revenue, but that includes the sales tax and the property tax. The property tax, we already received the whole amount. We also received other taxes around 3.5 million that we didn't have in the budget, so it's good. We are a little slow in the state and federal revenue, but that is kind of normal because those months usually come in the third and fourth quarter. And also some of those we are not going to receive it this year because we have some delays in the projects that it may have to go to next year, like highway project. So in this one, we can see that around 9% of the revised budget, we already got it. For the amount that, this amount, the expected amount in the revenue and the expenses is estimated by the Benesky Group. So they said that we were supposed to receive around 62 million and we received 64, so we are doing it. So here, the spending by class. One that we pay like special attention this year was the personal services deal that we zero out in the budget, all the vacancies. Until now, we are doing good. We just have spent 46%, but that is mostly because of all the turnovers that we have. In equipments, it looks like we haven't spent at all, but it's because we have ordered some trucks and buses and we haven't received it yet. So those expenses are going to show in the third or fourth quarter this year. And same with the contracts. And one that we have to pay special attention is benefits. Here it shows that we are a little bit over for 53%, but if we take a closer look, we are like 60 point something in health insurance. And the other one that is going like a little bit high also is a state. So we need to, for this budget process, we need to pay close attention with all those new positions that we are approving. And the funding for those positions, if that funding includes fringe or not. Because if it doesn't include fringe, we approve new positions during the year. And the county have to pay for those benefits. And it will increase our expenses. Here for the expected and the actual spending, it looks like we are doing good, just like 500,000 difference. So it seems for this quarter we are good, but we have to be careful because most of our expenses come in the third and fourth quarter. So the revenues here, it looks like we haven't received the revenue, and this is mostly because in highway, for example, we is a state and federal revenue, the same with planning. These revenues are tied to expenses, so those are projects that have been delayed. In planning these two, the town of Oneonta grant and the housing rehabilitation program, when I talked with Tammy, she said that probably we don't even do it this year. We'll have to move it to next year, so we are not going to receive those revenues. And with Bridge, I was talking, and we're having issues with the Bridge New York project. Also, we just received the chips. So Bridge New York, probably we won't do it this year, so that money we are not getting it on now, not in the third or fourth quarter. But the good news is that we are not going to spend it neither. Because these monies are, we receive reinforcement for things that we spent.
So you
We
should
don't
get,
do the project, we don't, yeah,
you should get CHIPS money in September though. Right?
yes. But it's not showing now, it will show in the third quarter. But the Bridge New York, that is the other big one, that is 4-point-something million, we probably won't get it this year because we are not going to do that, right? We are having some issues with that project.
So wait, say that again? we're not getting the Bridge to New York monies this year because,
If we don't do the project, if we don't spend the money, we don't get reimbursed for that money.
how come we didn't do the bridge in Gilbertsville then if we could have got that money?
So I think that one is a different one.
Yeah, it is a different one.
You talked about
There,
before,
yeah,
Yeah.
because it's not ready yet.
yes, so that one is a different.
Steel.
Right.
No,
Sometimes projects screw up, and remember, we had some property disputes,
Yeah,
I
but
think, for this one.
wasn't that for the bridge in Todsville?
But the thing,
Because that bridge was
Gilbertsville was, we couldn't get the steel.
no, so they were scheduled to do it next year.
Right.
right.
But
But I
I was gonna
think,
say, if we could have done it this year, because we didn't do that one, we didn't get the money for that one, then we should have done.
Because I don't think we could have got the material, that's the issue.
So
That's why-
Mr. George, that is the money for a specific bridge.
Okay, so you can't
We
just
can-
flip flop monies?
We can,
There we go.
yeah.
It
The
is
one that we
fungible.
can switch,
Oh.
the other one, the Pave New York, the Chiefs, we can switch from one project to another one.
Okay.
The Bridge New York for a specific.
Yeah.
And it'll, like a ton.
thank you.
So here, the one that is we have received more revenue that we have expected is in the general fund. That is because of the taxes that are fully, we received all that amount, in property taxes, insurance on taxes, and Medicaid Part D. We also received 60% of in lieu taxes, CD interest, and tobacco settlement, and 3.8 million in revenue that it was not budgeted. We also receive in social services around 80% of the budgeted state share of administrative expenditure and the 40% of the federal administrative expenditure. We also receive 70% of the federal funding for family services. And for the public defender, we have received already 54% of the budgeted amount for the IO. In the spending, well, this one is tied to what we talked before. We haven't been able to develop this project, so we are not getting the money. So it's same thing in here. This is the number of the health insurance that we have to pay attention to that. I already explained that one. The other standard that we had that it doesn't show in the Benesky projection that we were expecting to spend is the land. We spend it there, but we are okay with that in general. And
That's because it was not budgeted.
yes.
We took it from the fund balance directly, if you recall.
Yes. The other one that we have to pay special attention is the family assistant in DSS that we already spent 84.5 of the budgeted amount. So in personal services, the biggest spendings are in the jail, county ambulance, and the sheriff. So for the jail, that second number there that I put that is 674% in all other. That is not a typo. That is just because it was budgeted 5,200 in that line. I already spent 35K, but this I check and it's a trend. It's usually like that because they budgeted. They use that line to pay for all the payback of the vacations. That when people don't take vacations, they can get paid for that. So they pay from that like that. Same with sick time, with holidays. Also, if there is sometimes people need to stay. We have two females. They are working, and if we have a female in there, somebody has to be there. So if they need to stay because there's no other option, we get paid also for that. The other one that in E911, the biggest expense is the part-time with 69%, and the other is also saying we have used a lot of that line. The sheriff with the overtime is 86% right now, so we probably in this fourth quarter, they will have to come here and ask for extra money from contingency. For
In the fourth quarter? Fourth quarter?
Maybe even in third.
Even in the third quarter, I feel like they will.
Is this for like food and things like that again?
Sorry.
Is this for like food and things of that sort?
Those are overtime.
Overtime.
Yeah.
So
Overtime. And the other one is this other category that I explained, that is all the holidays and extra time that they say there, I don't remember exactly how was the name of the category, but it's sometimes you have to stay, if they get paid for because they have to stay, not just for the overtime.
They don't show up for meeting, you don't.
So in other words, they were stuck,
Yeah.
as we refer to it.
You don't come to a meeting, you don't have to give it to them.
Hmm?
You don't show up to the meeting, you can't answer for it.
So the ones that are underspending in personal services are social services, that is mostly because of all the turnover that they have there, and we're going to see in another slide. In public defender, in the conflict defender, because they budgeted two positions and we haven't been able to hire anybody for those positions. And elections, they are low in they have a vacancy, a full-time vacancy, but they are also are low in the part-time line, that they just have spent 40%, but that's we are going to see that is spent in the fourth quarter. So here is the changes in position, how many people left and how many people are new in each department. So workforce looks like we hire a lot, but those are so it's good that we have them, but it's not new full-time people, and it's just for a period of time. But social services, this is something that I'm worried about because we lost 14 people in between the first and the second quarter. So here is the big picture. We have 661 positions. 136 are vacancies. Of those 136, 21 are being vacancies created. So we have a 20% vacancy rate, and there you can see the biggest departments with vacant position, that is social services, sheriff, jail, community services, and highway. Here is the vacancy in the first and second quarter. This is a little bit different to the other one. It may show in some departments like lower because this is just what was vacant at that moment. In the previous slide is how many people left or how many people arrived in that period of time, and also it shows the people that moved from one department to another. Here is the money from contingency. We budgeted what we have used and what we have used that money. Until now, we have 1.3 million left. That it seems like a good amount, but we have a request that we have been pushing to October and November that will show in the third or fourth quarter report.
So you have that 3,600 in it, is that from today already? The different 3,600
Yes, that's from today.
from today already, okay.
we actually do some coordination from
Yeah.
that. It's gotten better since I don't come into the office.
So why did you give Rich so much trouble when you knew this was already in there?
Because I was hoping he wouldn't,
Notice it?
you wouldn't give it to him.
Oh.
But
Okay.
we did, so.
We are trying to work with the departments to see if they can move money from one additional line in their budget and trying to avoid using contingency.
Okay. Better tell Mr.
We
Wilson
wanna
that. so he
try to
doesn't
start
have to-
doing that more often. So we can keep that money just for something that like, there's not a. Take the money from. So in here, I put it, the revenue by committee, what is in the revised budget, the actual. Admin looks so that it has so much revenue because all the taxes are in there.
What is works? Is that yellow?
No, public works is the, that we haven't received almost anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
So with, so this is revenue by committee, this is what the committee, each committee is charged with of the budget or what?
So the revised, I'm terrible at this, the life one, the revenue, the revised budget is what is in the budget that they said that they are going to do.
Okay.
So the other one is what they have brought over. Until
Okay,
first and second quarter.
got it.
So for
So
instance, like,
some of those revenues are going to come in the third and fourth quarter because it's a state and in federal. They usually come.
Okay.
And also some of the revenue is reimbursement for expenses, so they incur those expenses right now and they ask for the to get reimbursed.
This is a new thing that Dave brought to us, or came up with. And the idea is to make your oversight role
Yeah.
a little easier. So you'll get a sense for kind of the departments under your purview, the revenue related to spending, and then the actuals, just so you get a sense. And then hopefully we'll give you some kind of big picture explanation for that, but you could dig in after this presentation
I want to-
if you want.
I might say another, the thing is the presentation has like 66 slides. So I just start removing some of them because it was too long, so I can send like a report with all that. Admin looks so good because of the property taxes that goes in there, 30% of the sales taxes already in there, which should be getting more. And it should show more now in the third quarter report. Because most of the sales taxes are in some time. So here is the numbers, the actual amount and the expected amount, but it looks like we are doing good. The only one that is, it looks like we haven't received all the revenue is IGA, and it's mostly for planning because we have the two biggest projects, that is the water district in the town of Anyota and the housing. They are behind Phil because they are still doing all the meetings and deciding. So here is the spending by committee. Yeah, so human services looks like high, mostly for the family assistance that they already spend the 85% of their budget amount there. But in general, it looks like we're doing good. If you see the expected amount and the actual that we have spent is, in most of cases, we are underspending. I mean, it looks like we are over because of the purchase of the land and also with all the taxes that we send back to the towns and villages. The government. And here is a strategic plan, the department that have been updating the strategic plans. So. You have any questions? I did it by committee, so you can see there which ones are. Question?
Good, very good.
I have the spreadsheet here. If you have any question, I can go and check.
Thank you for this. Anybody got any questions for Dave? Very good, thank you.
thanks, Dave.
Got this up. I know. Thank you. Is there any other business for this committee? If not, we'll, set a meeting date of the 10th or the 17th. 10th is the second. Oh,
17th.
next meeting date's the 17th. Mr. Wilbur has something.
I would like to propose, what did I do with that? Here it is. I would like to propose two resolutions. The first one's been, I mentioned it before, when we learned of the passing of Mr. Kutnick, or Representative Kutnick. I would like to move that we, a policy drafted that when a former or present board member passes, that we plant a tree and have a standard plaque, durable plaque, placed on the farm, I guess, in remembrance of the service that board member gave to the county.
Is there a second?
I'm sorry.
Question, are we just starting that from now, or are we gonna go back?
I don't know, I think it might be difficult to go back. I'd like to start with Mr. Kutnick.
We got Jerry.
And Jerry, you want to have something or two, so I don't know how you want to handle that. You could go with that, but if you go, I don't know how you would go too far back without missing people and then creating a problem.
Right. But
When did Jerry pass? Was that in 24?
3 years ago, so I'm telling you.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Was it 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Maybe not quite.
Then you got Rich Murphy. I mean, there's a bunch of
Chris Murphy, Marty Staten.
Betty Schwartz.
Sword, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just concerned about how far back you go, because if you go back too far, everybody's passed. Right?
Well, yeah, that's
I
it.
mean, look at that picture,
I just,
you know? So
I don't really wanna
we have
show,
a forest.
I really don't wanna show favoritism either, because, you know, I don't want people that got relatives that are alive now and say, well, how come did that for him and didn't do it for me?
Well, we just got the land. The time frame is getting that
I'm just
parcel.
If they want to plant a tree to remember, you know, of a former board member, they could do that.
Could you pick kind of an arbitrary time frame, like go back 5 years or something like that, and just say that's that?
I'm all right with that. I
All we
just,
can
again,
do.
I'm concerned with creating, I suppose we can adjust. Once we have a policy, the board can vote to adjust it.
Or you can just go say anyone who's died this year and going forward.
I think it's smart. Yeah.
Acquired property.
Yeah.
Had space.
Yeah, I like that.
Any more discussion?
Yeah, I have some discussion. Where do you want these trees? You want them in the wooded area where people are on the trail? You want them out front of the building? Do we care? We don't?
Well,
To be determined?
yeah, I think it's to be determined, talk to Tim, maybe there's like along the edges of the road, the new driveways, again, like, you know, Rich's new driveway is gonna be coming in, that could be a good spot along the edges there.
Whatever.
We have a historic cemetery on the new, for the kind of maybe a grove around that or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any more discussion?
Nope.
Do a roll call vote.
McCarty,
I'm gonna say no.
Wilbur.
Aye.
Brockway.
Aye.
Hinchey,
Yes.
Powers.
Gonna say no.
What?
I'm gonna say no. Oh, I like the idea, but I just think it's gonna lead to somebody
That's,
getting left out and being hurt feelings.
that's my exact sentiment. You know, I'm not against it, but yet I just don't know where to start it, and I just don't wanna upset someone, so. Hearing 3 yeses, And 2 noes. Did that pass?
I answered. Yes.
That passed.
Yeah.
Thank you. What's the next thing?
The next thing is, we are currently erecting a tower for the 911 in Butternuts. And the main driver behind that tower was Representative Madsen. And it has been discussed about naming that the Harry Madsen Tower site. And I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second that. Yep. Can I do that? Okay. Any discussion? I think it's a great idea.
Give you some context. Was he from that district? I'm guessing.
Yes, he was from that district. He was an active member of the board. He passed away from illness.
And he pushed for
And he
communication.
pushed for that tower.
area.
So I just thought it would be a nice thing to name it after him.
He did pass away while he was in his term,
Right.
so it was kind of sudden and unexpected, but yeah, definitely was very much an advocate for his district.
And a very nice man. I think everybody in this building would say so.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote.
McCarty,
Yes.
Wilbur.
Aye.
Brockway,
Yes.
Hinchey.
Yes.
Powers.
Hearing no no's, all yeses, that motion passed. How about a motion for adjournment?
I think I've made every motion in this meeting today.
I'll move that we.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, motion adjourned. Thank you, Isaiah.